Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us for today's BU Career webinar titled 7 Ways to Build a Rockstar Social Brand That Never Sleeps. My name is Dan Gardner, and I'm a member of the Career Programs team here in the Office of Alumni Relations. Today's webinar is being sponsored by Boston University Alumni Relations and is offered to our 339,000 alumni all around the globe. Throughout your career, BU is committed to helping you define and achieve your professional goals. And we aim to do this by providing alumni with access to a series of valuable online tools and social media communities. And I know that we have alumni joining us today from many faraway places like Toronto, Canada, Dublin, Ireland, Taipei, Taiwan, Culver City, California, Littleton, Colorado, Knoxville, Tennessee, Clifton Park, New York, and as always, dozens of Massachusetts alumni from towns like Avon, Cambridge, Fall River, Lynn, Milton, and many more. For each and every one of you out there, please know that we really do value your opinion on this and every program that we offer. And before I introduce today's speaker, just a few brief housekeeping notes. As you know by now, this webinar is being hosted on our Zoom online meeting platform. And if you experience any trouble with the audio or visual portions of today's presentation, please go ahead and contact Zoom support. You can find that number on your screen. It's 1-888-799-9666. Today's presentation is indeed being recorded and will soon be available for on-demand viewing on the Alumni Association website. Our speaker today is very eager to answer any questions that you may have, and you're welcome to submit them throughout the presentation using the Q&A box. You can find it by hovering over the Zoom window and selecting Q&A. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for the day, BU College of Communication alumna Robin Samora. Robin teaches small business owners how to rev up their brand online and offline to attract new clients, connect with customers, get media exposure, and increase sales. With decades of experience, she helps professionals and entrepreneurs find their ideal target market, create branding, marketing, and PR strategies that work, with the ultimate goal to double sales. Robin's mission is to help clients boost their business, brand, and bottom line by teaching them how to cut through the clutter and target their audience so they can get noticed, attract new clients, and make more money. She uses social media, blogging, digital marketing, speaking, and free publicity strategies to enhance reputation and credibility, positioning her clients as a go-to source. Robin, thank you so much for being here today. The floor is all yours.
Oh, that is so great. First of all, I just want to tell my BU community that I'm so excited to be here today. It is wonderful to be able to give back. I just love what I've learned in my career, and I love to help small business owners and professionals really be the best that we can be, because everybody has a special gift to share. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to do what you love to do and have the world know about that as well. So thank you so much again for joining us. So the first question that I guess we're gonna ask is, who's in the room today? I think that's supposed to come up here. Oh, here it is right here. Great. So if we could, just for a show of hands for Dan, who's here, who's in the room? We have, I'm sure we have entrepreneurs, professionals, fellow marketers, job seekers. Who else is in the room? It would be great for us to get an idea, because I'm going to be speaking for both the small business owners that are here, or people that are starting up or want to be professional or want to be entrepreneurs, and also for other marketers or people that want to learn about free publicity strategies. And my friend, oh good, we have 33% entrepreneurs, 39 professionals, some marketers, awesome, job seekers, and 2 others. Great. Perfect. So I like to have my friend, Mr. Einstein here, Einstein. He's writing my name on the board. This is one of the free tools that's called Photofunia, P-H-O-T-O-F-U-N-I-A, photofunia.com. And I love it because you can create certain kinds of graphics. And I use this as an icebreaker a lot when I'm speaking, or I have different presentations, and I just love to see my Twitter handle by him. It's cool. Let's go on to our next slide here, what you're gonna learn. So my intention today is to talk with you about how you're gonna create a strong personal and professional brand different ways to build a base of raving fans who LKT, that means like, know, trust you. And like, know, trust also has another letter, but I didn't put it here, and that's a B. So the B is believe. So you want to have people, a community, build a community who like, know, trust, and believe in you. We're going to talk a little bit about free and low-cost marketing and social media strategies to grow your social brand. And also at the end, I'm going to give you some social branding guidelines to live by as a rock star. You guys ready? All right, great. So this is my blog. I'm so excited also to have been recognized as a top 40 small business marketing blog. I've been in business for 20 years. I love writing about marketing, and I just totally rebranded. So I would love to hear your feedback on that as well. I've done a lot of different things in my career. I have a brand ambassador company, and one of my biggest clients is Xfinity. And also at the same time, I have worked with small business owners in the last 10 years, worked with small business owners to really rev up their brand. But in the meantime, I've worked with, had a lot of stuff published for USA Today. I worked with Major League Baseball, the X Games, worked with the Red Sox. Again, a lot of work with Comcast, community work with Globe Center. And I have just recently, the last couple of years, joined the National Speakers Association through work that I did as a constant contact speaker. So here's just a little bit about my background. One of the things that I love about free publicity is being able to collect logos. I definitely think it's a great idea if you're doing work with some different companies and big brands or even smaller brands to be able to capture them on a logo, to use your logos for different media mention, because it's a really important thing to do. It shows credibility. So what we're doing here, even though we're talking about social branding, we're still talking about selling, because in a way we're really selling our brand, selling ourselves. So what we want to do is always create a professional brand. We want to find the right people who we're going to get in front of. We want to share valuable information and content so that we can create and maintain and nurture relationships. And we also want to build those strong relationships and expand our network. One of the ways that we can do that, of course, is with networking, and whether that's in real life or we're going to be doing that with social media, but we're not going to really get into the personal in real life networking for that. That's a whole nother strategy that we can talk about at another time. But for this here, these are just some of the rules that we have about social branding. And my intention also is for you guys to be a brand that never sleeps. So your brand is always working, whether you're, traveling, you're at an airport, you're on the beach, you're at your villa, or wherever you might be, you're working, your brand is always going to be working for you. So we have social media, of course. We have, your brand is working if people are listening to podcasts, or if you're going to be, this little one over here is the Alexa, an Alexa device, whether you're on Google My Business, Instagram. So we always want to be a brand that's always working. So that's why we say you want to be a brand that never sleeps. The first thing that's really, really important is to build any kind of a brand or to do anything is that you have to have clarity, right? We want to know, who are you? So you have to do kind of a deep dive into yourself, and who are you and what do you stand for? And what's your brand personality? A brand is how you make somebody feel. So how do you want people to feel about you? And what's your message? What's your consistent message online, offline, wherever you go, whether it's in the community, whether you're at a grocery store, people see you and you want to always have a consistent brand. So clarity in anything you do, whether you start a project, whether you're talking about your branding, whether you're working with a team, you always need to have clarity, and you always want to have intention so that you set your path out the right way. And in a digital world, your brand is always working 24/7. So whether it's on email or content marketing, whether you're doing SEO, whether you're doing social media marketing, your brand is always on. So in today's world, we want to make sure that everything is consistent and that your brand is always rock solid, so that wherever anyone goes, they see you as the same person, the same social brand with the same message. That's extremely important, because not only do you want to be consistent, but you also want to be human, and we want to definitely show our human side, and we want to be transparent also. So for example, even though I'm in this this orange dress that I'm wearing now, I'm wearing flip-flops and jeans under it. Well, nobody, I might post a picture later on social about that, but that's part of my brand, because I also want to be, transparent to you. And also knowing that that's part of my brand is that I love to travel, I love to go different places and work from anywhere in the globe. That's one of the things that's important to me for my lifestyle brand, and also my brand that I have as a marketing and a PR consultant. Next, we want to always, when we talk about branding, we talk about our social brand, we want to define our target market. So we obviously want to connect with people online in real life. Who do you want to get in front of? That's really important as you decide about your social brand and you create it. What events are they going to go to? What online communities do they belong to? And what we want to do is create simple, easy, one-question answers. And that means that if you're going to be connecting with people or influencers or people that that you meet at a networking event that you want to connect with, don't write a real long essay and ask them 10,000 questions. What's their thought on War and Peace? Ask them a simple question. Chances are that people will respond to you with an answer. And always be of service, of course. We talk about that a little bit later. So you want to create and share content that people see. This I really love. This is from Sunflower Farm Creamery. I found this actually in a Mashable article. So these folks from Sunflower Farm Creamery have these goats that they dress up all the time. And they're very popular on Instagram. So depends on what kind of content that your target audience might want to see, but these goats are absolutely adorable. They're, they're famous kids. I call them famous kids on social media. So what is it that your target market wants? What kind of content might they want to see? You always want to influence your audience. So you want to post your platforms where your post on platforms that your target audience likes. You want to become a go-to source wherever you are and position yourself as an authority, and always show that you care. And everything that we want to do, we want to increase the number of people who know you. So how you influence on social media, you want to go obviously where your target market is. You want to find out what kind of target that they like, what kind of content that is your brand that you can share, and then work around with that to test and tweak what they might like to see, how they might engage, and what you can get for an ROI there. Lastly, we want to make sure that we're consistent on all platforms. So that's social media, which we know what that is, traditional media, earned media, and earned media is what you're getting in the press, your own media, and your own media we're going to go on over in a minute, and other people's media. So your own media is what? Is websites and publications and things that you own, and other people's media is what's going to be on their channels. So as far as creating your own media channels. So first of all, I think we have some job seekers and we have some companies that are on the webinar today. It's awesome. For job seekers, I really love a personal website. This is from HubSpot. If you guys aren't not checking out HubSpot, you definitely want to add that as a wonderful resource to get a lot of information. And what I've done also, you'll see during this presentation, is I've made these customized little URLs where you can check out these different websites that I have, these different pages that I've picked out. And also I know that at the end you'll be able to get a copy of this presentation if you're interested. I think Dan will talk about that in the end. So for your company website, of course, we have about and products and testimonials. FAQs are really important. They're really important for search engines as well. Thank you, private policy, contact page, links to social. These are all just absolutely, you know, we have to have these. But again, the personal website, check out this URL. There's some really cool, I say really cool personal websites, exactly, that you can see, and they really aren't that complicated. And I think that, you know, me personally, I'm a fan of WordPress, but take a look at them and see if you're a job seeker, if that might be something that you might like to build for yourself or have someone build for you. It really, it's not that hard to do. You can do it on WordPress, Squarespace, really depends on what you like. Another thing to build your social brand is I love for everybody to publish content as an expert. Here's a URL that I have for social media content ideas. You want to answer questions that people ask over and over. I was at a recent seminar, at a recent conference, and Ryan Dice was the speaker there, and I was actually covering him writing a blog. And he talks about, you know, answering questions people ask over and over. And that's what you want to do, is make sure that you are writing content for the questions that people want to ask. And you want to solve their problems. So you always want to write high quality content that solves their problem, and put it in the platforms that your target audience will look at and will engage with. Another thing that he talked about, and I love this, was that your audience today is not your audience tomorrow. And that just means that people are searching the web for questions, right? They have a question, they get an answer. How do I hook up my Bluetooth speakers to my laptop? How do I, what did I ask today? Yeah, I think that was one of them that I had. Or how do I make sure that my snowball mic is working correctly? So your audience will always be changing. You want to write for your audience to answer their questions, but you also want to write to an audience of one, and that audience of one is going to be Google. You want to optimize like crazy, including your video descriptions, and you want to be strategic and syndicate content that you care about. Syndicating meaning you want to publish it wherever you want to get a list of different publications where you can syndicate your content, meaning where you're going to be sharing it. And this would be true for whether you're on LinkedIn or Pinterest, which is highly underrated. And if you're in real estate or have a brand that would really benefit from the visual visual images, you want to check out Pinterest. I know even for a lot of bloggers, I'm actually doing a new initiative to use a lot of Pinterest as well, YouTube, and of course on podcasts as well. Content ideas. So you want to create a mix of content. A couple of slides ago, I put a URL where you can also check to go into the content ideas. But we're talking about here, writing a blog and telling stories with video, and you can do that on Instagram. You can do that with Facebook. You can do that with YouTube. You can do that on your website. You want to share industry news, ask questions, post infographics. You want to start a conversation with an influencer or a micro influencer, because micro influencers, a lot of times you can get in touch with them easier, and they'll be more willing to help you out. You want to create a podcast. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Content could be adding links to free resources, or you could be live streaming. So these are some really popular content ideas that you can use. One of the ways that, I don't know if you guys have checked this out, but Buzzsumo is, I think, pretty amazing. So it's a site, there's a freemium, so you can get a free trial, and then you can also, I think it's a blogger's cost is like $39 when I did that. It might be $79, I'm not sure. You can check out what the prices are. But go to buzzsumo.com and you can see what topics are trending. So you want to write also about topics that are trending. You can then find what the links are. You can see what topics are trending. You can go to see what the articles are, which I loved. You can grab the links and you can use that for content. And as well, you can find and follow influencers in your industry. Why do I love this? Is because you'll see, first of all, who the influencers are. You can type in your what you're working on, say digital marketing, and you would find out who the influencers are. You can see who they're following. You can see what they're liking. You can see how many people have commented on Facebook or shared, and it's really, I think it's just a really awesome tool. I think you'll really like it. You could also, as far as trends going and see what topics are trending, you can look on Google, you can look on social media, but this is one that I really like a lot. Also Feedly, FEEDLY.com. It's a digital library source. I use that as well. I think that's like $40 a year or something like that. But you can also see what's trending there, and you can grab different links and read what's going on in your industry or something that you might like to select to put in your content calendar. Create shareable graphics. Canva. I created these Canva graphics. I'm doing a We Boss Week workshop. That's for women entrepreneurs with the city of Boston. I created this a couple of days ago. Took me about 10 minutes to do, and I am way not an expert on design. I also made a book cover one night, Manifest What You Want, a no fluff guide to help from the universe. Again, I think that cost me $1, that graphic, but everything else is pretty free. There's another one that I'm going to be testing out, and I'm going to be blogging about. It's called designwizard.com. You might want to check them out. But here again is a link to 37 sites like Canva. Graphics you definitely want to use for your social brand because you can share them, you can do quotes, just great. You can, promote workshops, you can put photos in there. Social branding really, shareable graphics are really important for that. So that's my tip number 3. So now we have, this one says, love Google and Google will love you. So what does this mean? What I'm talking about here is Google My Business. So if you're a business, you definitely want to have Google My Business. Even though I work from home, I still have Google My Business. I just don't put my street address. So the reason that you want to have Google My Business is that you're able to post all different kinds of content there. You can put your blog there. You can put events there. You can have a calendar. You can put FAQs there. Plus, the best part is that on Google My Business, you're going to drive people there and they're going to write reviews. And reviews are social proof, but another wonderful free publicity tool and tactic that you can use. So free publicity is wonderful. Google, when you write for Google and you use Google, Google will love you. And it's just underrated and so important. I have a case study on my blog at robinsamora.com/blog that one of my clients, Justin Moran, wrote, and it's really done wonders for his business. I think we have a poll coming up here somewhere on that. Oh, here it is. Great. So what content are you posting on Google My Business? And we made it a multiple choice. Media mentions, articles, blogs. And this one says, I didn't know you could post on GMB. So I'll just wait a minute here. And the thing about Google My Business that's cool is that it lasts about 7 days. So when you're going to be refreshing your social media anyway, you want to make sure that you are just putting new content up on Google My Business. So as far as your editorial calendar and your social media calendar, just add this as another one of those tasks that you'll use. So let's see. Oh, so we're pretty even all the way across. A little bit more on blogs, which is great. Media mentions, fantastic. FAQs. Oh, a lot of people didn't know you could post on it. Well, that's great. So now you know that. Go to my blog and you can read something about that. Honestly, I'm going to be posting in a couple of weeks, I think, another article on examples of Google My Business, what kind of posts that you can put up there. It is, I just think it's the greatest. So definitely want to do that. That's a great way to build your social brand. We had talked a little bit about capturing and sharing more reviews. Again, over on Google, reviews on Yelp, reviews on TripAdvisor, Facebook, House. I put the asterisk over here on LinkedIn because we don't get reviews, but we can ask for recommendations and we can give recommendations. So one thing I love, well, what I love about that, first of all, is that, again, it's social proof. It's great for your brand. When you also, you can unexpectedly, you can write reviews or recommendations for people, and what will normally happen in the way that Karma works is they'll write one for you, but it builds your social credibility, it builds your brand, it just makes you more of an authority. So definitely you might want to consider writing recommendations, like maybe write 3 or 4 a week, and then see what happens. People will also write for you. But very important to get, this is again, social proof that helps to build your brand. This tiny URL, and these, what I did was, they're called customized URLs. So if you ever give a presentation and you want to take one of those really, really long links, you can just go to tinyurl.com, throw it into the little thing that says shorten it, and then generate a customized one. So I love this for presentations. Little trick in case you guys don't know that. You probably do, but just mentioning it. You want to be strategic on social media. Here is this link here, just came out. I saw it from Ann Hanley's newsletter that I get on Sundays. You definitely want to get on that. She is amazing. She's my marketing muse. I reached out to her after I read this and on LinkedIn told her I loved it. It's another way you can get in touch with influencers, right? And to build your social brand is to get in touch with people and to always say something nice and but mean it. Don't just do it to just get to know people. So anyway, this URL here, great stuff. This is a new social media report 2020 that I thought was really valuable. So you want to be strategic in social media. This is a sample of my Instagram account that I just actually started this year because I found that my audience has actually gotten a lot younger for people that want to start businesses, people that want to rev up their business, and in some cases they might be people that maybe are at a little bit of a standstill and they want to really rev up their business, or they've got a little problem and that we want to position them and help them out. So you want to be strategic on social media, not to waste your time, because there's a lot of reports on how social media people are just checking other people out or just wasting time or passing time. I want you to be really strategic in what you're doing, but it's important for your branding. So for me, my brand, I'm a speaker. I love to travel. This is a place we went to in Paradise Valley, which is in Montana. So gorgeous. I have a lake house. My daughter just got married. I'm actually at her house in Austin, Texas. Something for Boston, you know, so you want whatever you're going to be posting, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, you want to make sure that you're your brand. So don't think about what you're going to do. Your social brand's really important. For me, I want to make sure that the look and the feel is for who I am authentically. So for your business, I want you to do the same. Think about, you don't have to go along with everybody else, what they're doing. Do what's your brand. Do what's your brand. Just like if you're writing a book and you have a book cover, you want to, don't be too, you can be different, but not to be too different. But in this case here on social, you want everything that you do to be consistent with your graphics, with your look and your feel, with your voice, with your tone, that kind of thing. And you want to hashtag your posts and brands, obviously. Here's a best hashtag generator URL that I have. And we have here Ellen, and she's hashtagging the royal wedding. I just love this because I thought it was hilarious. And you want to make sure that you're hashtagging your posts with whatever it might be. So whether it's, you know, hashtag marketing tips, hashtag small business, hashtag branding, hashtag whatever it might be, BU alumni. You want to make sure that you are using this for your social brand, because it's important, again, for the way that the world sees you, and that people, when they're searching your topic or your expertise, that you're using it here with these hashtags. Flaunting your expertise. Now, this is one of my favorite things to do. So building credibility as an expert. So what do I mean here? You see a bunch of different logos. I just love logos. Okay, Quora, the Q. We don't have a poll here, but Quora is a website where people go to ask questions. So they ask experts questions. You can use Quora for a number of ways. So first, you can get content ideas at Quora. So say you're stuck on what to write about, what to write for a blog or a blog title or speaking. You can get different content ideas for what questions people are asking. Remember, we want to answer questions. Muckrack is a site where journalists, we can connect with journalists. I think they have a 2-week trial. Meetup is a great way to flaunt your expertise. So I started a meetup. I have 2 meetup. Well, I have 1 meetup now, small business marketing strategies, something like that. And but I had a meetup that I had for an event that I was doing on gratitude, and I was giving a workshop on gratitude. And within maybe 4 or 5 days, I got a contact from a TV station. They wanted to know what I was doing. It was around the Thanksgiving time. So meetups can be a great way for journalists to find you, for reporters to find you, for other collaborators to find you. Oftentimes, people ask me if I would, you know, help give out tickets, and I have tickets a lot of times to some great Boston events, so you can make sure to connect with me if you ever want tickets to places. Harrow, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. Oh my God, I just love Harrow. It's helpareporter.com. That's where you sign up and you get journalists write their requests for different experts to submit information. I've been featured a lot of times on Harrow. There's templates that you can use and write. And what you do is when you're published, then you can use those links and those logos to put on your media page or to use on media mentions or even on Google My Business we talked about. The C, that one is clarity, and that's where if you're an expert, you can rent your brain. And then Medium, of course, is another great place to repurpose and syndicate your content. I am not yet on Medium. It is on my plan for next week. So I have 5 years of content and blogs. So what I'm going to do is decide which are the ones that I'm going to share on Medium. I'm going to pay the $5 a month. And I'm going to post my content there. You can also, a lot of people have used Medium where you can host your press releases and things like that. So it could sort of be a press room if you wanted to do that. But Medium is great. It's just another way for people to find you. So all these different things that you're going to be doing, everything here, it's all bringing back to your website, to your brand, and you're creating this online persona of someone who you solve their problems, that you're a resource for them, that you want them to get to like, know, trust you, and you want them to believe in you. So you're the expert. You've been working so long at what you're doing, and you love your work, hopefully, like I love my work, and I want to help as many people as I can. Plus, I love this. This is really fun for me. So we'll get into a little bit more of this later. And you want to take advantage of free publicity. I can't say that. So here's a tiny URL, free publicity strategies. And I think that brings you back to one of my blogs that I wrote about it. You want to sign up for helpareporter.com. So again, this is Harrow right here. It's something that you definitely want to sign up for. Oh, we have here. Are you using Harrow Help a Reporter Out? If yes, share your experience. And did you know Harrow was founded by a fellow BU alum, Peter Shankman? Exactly. So what you want to do is Harrow, you sign up for it. You get like, say, 3 different emails a day, or you can control it from the dashboard on how many times you want to get the notices from Harrow. You might also want to create a separate, some people, no. Oh, this is even more awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about this a little bit. Thank you, Dan, so much. So as far as Harrow, so you might want to, what I was saying is you might want to set up a different account for it, a different email account, because you'll get a lot of emails, and you don't want to drive them crazy. You don't want them to drive you crazy. So that will be important to do, and then I can teach you at some point, or I can send a template if you guys are interested on what to write and how to do that. So with free publicity, you also want to put together a hit list. So like, for example, who do you want to work with? That's why I tell all my clients, like, tell me 10 people you want to work with right away, or 10 companies, right? So you want to put similarly for new business development, of course, but similarly for free publicity, where do you want, what are the blogs that you want to be featured on? What are the podcasts? What are the magazines? What are the publications? Where do you want to speak? I mean, speaking is like another amazing way to build your social brand. Or webinars. I mean, this is a great way to build my social brand. Besides, I love to give back to BU. I owe so much to my education there. And you also, whatever you do in any of this, whether it's Help a Reporter, Harrow, the blogs, podcasts, you always want to pitch yourself as an expert, because you are an expert. I had a coach that once told me 10 years ago, Robin, you are an expert if you know more than 10 people on the street. And I'd say, really? Well, maybe, but I definitely know that after 2 decades, I would say, yes, I'm an expert, but I am an expert in training. We're all experts in training. I am learning every single day. I spend a lot of time, talking with people online, looking, but but as an expert, just as an aside, don't always compare yourself to everybody else, because it could lead you down the rabbit hole. So don't do that. So look at some things. Okay, that's great, but you are your own expert, whatever you do. And you have your own style, and you have your own expertise. And so don't always compare yourself. Also, that's just important, just a mindset kind of a thing. We talk a little bit about, I'm just going to check the time here. Oh, we're doing pretty good. Creating podcasts on your mobile phone, anchor.fm. I don't know if anybody has used this, but this is a pretty amazing app that you can have on your mobile phone. And honestly, I did a little test drive with it. It was fun to do. And you can make a podcast and you can distribute it, and it's not the paid version, but it works fine. So you should try it out, because a podcast is one of the greatest ways to be able to share your expertise. You can, make sure you're going to put it in all the different platforms. You can transcribe it. You can use different apps to transcribe it, which is great for keywords. You can share it on social. It's great to build your brand. You can be a guest. Say you don't want to create a podcast, but say you want to be a guest on a podcast. That's something else that you can share on social. So this is really, and audio is huge, big. So this is why podcasts are great. Another thing that you can do is you can launch innovative marketing. Now, I was just talking about Dan with Dan earlier today. I am so excited. I'm going to be doing a new daily marketing show on Alexa. It's going to be debuting on October 15th. And pretty much, as you know, how I don't have the stats in front of me, how many billion people are, have these, are listening to, I don't think billion, I shouldn't say that. I should get the stats before I say it. But so many million people have these devices, right? All over the world. So, Alexa, tell me a joke. Alexa, tell me the news. Well, if you go to the Alexa app, I haven't done this yet because my show's not up. The art is done. I've recorded some episodes with just my blue snowball mic, and Audacity, so it's not hard to do. But anyway, what you'll do is you'll go to the Alexa app, you'll say, what do I want to learn about? And then, you'll put in marketing, or you could put in, I want to get a daily health advice or meditation. So anyway, you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. And I think it's going to be a wonderful new, not just an experiment, but a wonderful way to build my social brand. What I love too about it is, of course, you'll give yourself an intro, you'll put your chunk of information in there. Now they're only about a minute or a minute and a half. So remember, I have 5 years of blogs and material and content. So I'll just go back, I write them myself. I put in the little minute content in there. And then at the end, here's the cool part about it. At the end, what you do is then you put a call to action. I'll be speaking in Nashville next week on October 4. Come and visit me. Check out my new book. Hey, if you like this, Alexa, if you like my Fast Marketing Minute, would you take a minute and give me a review? I could say, hey, check out my new website. Check out my blog. I just wrote about XYZ. So you have you always have a call to action that you can always change according to what's going on. Check out my new online course. Check out this, check out that, whatever. But you want to make sure you don't put too many in there, but maybe have a series of, I don't know, like say 10 that you might change. I know that I was speaking to my team yesterday and we talked about, I said, well, I don't want to, every day on Alexa, say, check out this or that. But we'll have a strategy, and you want to make sure that you have a strategy for everything that you're doing here, because random doesn't really work. Hope is not a strategy. So even if you do basic Excel spreadsheets to make content calendars or editorial calendars, just write stuff down. Even if you keep it in a notebook, just write stuff down so you won't forget, and so that you plan, because planning is the key to everything. And as one of my favorite mentors of all time told me, you have to do your priorities. So your priorities are really important so that you don't get sidetracked, because if you have a lot of ideas like I do, and you might, your brain might naturally go, oh, I love that, I love that. You want to make sure that you are sticking to your priorities and not the bright, shiny objects. Plan, plan, plan. With anything, with marketing, with your PR, with your social branding, make sure you do that. And make sure that you share everything that you do. I definitely want you to do that, because you're not going to be the best secret in town. The whole part of social branding is to be social and to share it on your social network and to talk about it, and not to think that you're bragging. This is you're sharing your awesomeness with people. So you want to make sure that you share everything. There's a difference between bragging and sharing. So let's just make note of that. You are awesome at what you do. So share it in a way that's mindful, that's helpful, and always be of service. You're being of service in everything that you do and your information that you share. We also want to talk a little bit about video. Obviously, video is going to escalate your social brand. And 80% of the global internet will be video by next year. So YouTube is amazing. I do not have a strong presence there, quite honestly. I will be getting better in the next year probably. But what's great about YouTube, it's the second largest search engine in the world, obviously. owned by Google. So you're able, I, for example, didn't know how to fix something. I don't even remember what it was, but I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. I needed to fix something. And so I didn't know how to do, oh no, I know what it was. Sorry. I didn't know how to use Audacity to record a podcast with my snowball mic. So I looked it up. I watched 2 YouTube videos. They were each 5 minutes. I watched them twice, and I learned how to do my own podcast. Another thing, Audacity free. My snowball was like $50. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay. 80% of marketers, they use video more and more. 90% of content is retained versus 10% with text, which doesn't mean, though, that you shouldn't be writing content. We always talk about a mix. We always want a mix of content. And on YouTube, 35 plus and 55 plus age groups are the fastest growing demographic. And with video also, a lot of marketers now are connecting with their audience one-to-one, meaning that they're sending, instead of sending an email, they're sending a message with video. And I have source here. This is from Omnicore. And then as far as video, I don't know if you guys have heard about this. I'm in Austin, Texas for Startup Week. And I heard about this quick mobile app for videos, and it's kind of cool. I'm not sure if there is a Android version, but I know that there is an iPhone version, so you might want to check this out. It's kind of cool. I saw it's for the GoPro, and it's very cool. One of the presenters that was there, we had a conversation about video, and he was live streaming from his GoPro, and then he was going to do all kinds of things with this quick app. So check it out. And then you want to create a community of PWLY. So what does that mean? What is PWLY? It is people who love you. You want people to love you, and you want to love them back. So share the love. It's a great thing. You can build like, know, and trust as a speaker, as a webinar, as a person who's doing a webinar, as a panelist. You build like, know, and trust with your community and volunteer groups. All this kind of stuff is really important to do. So you want to create a community of people who love you by giving, by answering questions, being helpful, not always expecting something in return. This is important as part of your social brand, to be authentic, to be giving, to be of service, and also be an expert in what you do. And people will automatically come to you because you're being authentic as who you really, really, truly are. And your voice and everything is consistent, and you're not a phony or a fake. Everybody can spot a phony. So here's my rockstar guidelines. Social branding tips. I don't know how much time we have, but basically you're going to be credible. You know your value. You want to build a strong personal platform. Google yourself often. That just means, hey, what's the web saying about me? What's Google saying about me? So you want to check that to make sure that that's all great. Use your authentic voice. Look at everything. Look at your business. Look at life through your brand lens, like through what your brand is all about. Wherever you go, you're your brand. So here I am in my dress and my flip-flops and my jeans underneath my dress. I'm my brand 24/7. If you don't toot your own horn, nobody else will. Fact. Give followers a reason to follow you. Like, what are they going to gain by following you? You always want to show gratitude. You want to own your expertise. You've worked a long time for it, and I just want everybody to hop on the brand wagon. So, and final, every social brand has 3 elements. We have the story, we have the voice, and we have the look. And so that's what it's all about. So I'm happy to take questions. I would absolutely love your feedback. Here's some ways to get in touch with me by my email. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Just let me know how you connected with me. And on Instagram, I would love to hear from you guys. Dan, do we have any questions?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Robin. One of the first questions we got was about all the links in your presentation. And so the question came from Erica, whether or not we'll be able to post all those links so that people can actually click them. And I just wanted to let everyone on the webinar know that Robin has graciously offered to share a PDF version of this presentation with all of those links clickable and embedded in the slides themselves.
Of course.
And if you'd like a copy, we're just going to ask that you reach out directly to Robin. So her email is right up there on the screen. And we would love for you to reach out and get a copy of the slides themselves, just so you can easily click on all the resources that were shared today. In addition, again, the webinar is being recorded. So if you wanted to go back and watch the video and type in the links yourself, you'll certainly be able to do that. And you'll see a link to the recorded video in your inbox tomorrow. So we do have another question here. I'm curious about blogging. If someone hasn't written a blog before and they watched your presentation and they said, yep, this is the time I'm going to start branding myself as an expert. I'm going to start writing a blog. When you got started, how did you determine how long a blog post should be? And do you have any particular blog posts that were, incredibly successful? Kind of what was your biggest hit so far?
Great question. Okay. So I started blogging just because I was never really a writer for a long time. I just started to write, and I started more writing personally and also about marketing. But as I progressed in my writing, I would get more. I would be more targeted to what questions people wanted about marketing and things like that. So. As far as blogging, obviously you need to have some kind of like a WordPress or some kind of a platform where you can blog. So your question was about how do you start? I think you just start writing, and then you develop an audience, and you keep writing, and you get better every time you write, and you ask for feedback, but not too much feedback, because then you'll just worry about everything that you're doing. I think that as writers, when you start, you become really self-conscious, and then you just decide that, you know what, I'm going to write in my way, and I'm going to find the people that love me and that like to hear what I like to, what I write about a consistent basis. If you're going to be blogging, you definitely want to make sure that you're blogging frequently. Like a blog once a month is not a great idea. If you can blog once a week, I think that's wonderful if you can do that. If you had to blog twice a month, okay, but the more frequently, the better. And the more that you stay on target to more or less what your wheelhouse of expertise is about. So I might do branding, I might do marketing, I might do publicity, I might do talk about Google My Business, but it's all about really promoting your brand in a certain particular way. Is that helpful? Now you also asked about like what are some really popular blogs that I have. I think it's really interesting. A lot of people, funny about Harrow. Harrow gets a lot of hits. My templates, I offer a lot of free templates also in some of my emails. So things like that. And it really depends. It depends on what the subject matters and what people are interested. Remember that now different people are looking at different ways, not just the people that get my newsletter. So my blog is also people that get my newsletter. That's a copy of my blog with some other like events and things where I might be speaking, but then that's shared also on my blog. That gets, that could be a global audience of people that just want some information.
Great. And we've got a couple questions here.
Excellent.
One from Henry saying, I work in a startup and we just started running our social media. Any suggestions for us to start from 0 followers? How do you start to grow that base?
Okay, so what's the specialty?
So he did give a little bit of follow-up information. The company that I work for, they haven't actually finished creating their products. They are a true startup. So just curious as to how would you start if you started a brand new social channel? How do you begin growing a following?
Well, obviously, if we go back to like say what some of the slides are here, we have to know, first of all, who are you, right? What's the company? What's the brand? Who's the target audience? What's your message? What's your goal? And then depending on what it might be, whether they're going to be reaching out to their prospects and their customers, it might be, without knowing the brand, it's kind of hard to say, but
So
you know.
I did just get a little bit more information. It's an app that serves people's stock transactions, so a
Oh,
finance app.
okay, cool. So I would imagine that they're going to be very popular on LinkedIn. I'm not thinking they're going to be on Instagram, although, you know, unless they're going to be doing some kind of beauty financial or something like that. I would say that they may or may not be on Facebook. I mean, Facebook is kind of, I have mixed feelings on Facebook personally. But Facebook is still an important platform for many people, and especially in groups. But I'd say, you know, they just start talking about their brand, who they are, sharing different articles that either they have written. So a lot of times, like for example, for me, I take my blogs and my material, and then I might revamp them a little bit, and then put them, and then share them as articles to build expertise. So this company would want to make sure that they are showcasing their brand and their expertise in a way where their target audience is going to see it. And just like any other startup in the world, including when I started my business, you just put yourself out there and go for it. And try not to be too much of a recovering perfectionist, because it does hold you back, and just go for it. I don't know. I hope that answered, but you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to give you a few ideas. I have 15 minutes for anybody who wants 15 minutes anytime.
That's great. One more question here. It's hard to believe we're already coming up at the top of the hour. Newsletters. You mentioned that you do send a newsletter. In many ways, it's the content that you're publishing on your blog with events and upcoming things. How many people would you say you need to have on your email list in order to justify the time and the effort that goes into creating the newsletter? You know, can you start a newsletter if you've got 20 people? Or
yeah, why not? I think I started my newsletter and I put my parents were on it. I think my best friend was on it, and then you just start growing. And what's awesome about email, and I'll just say email and newsletter, it is, and I talked again about Ryan Dyson, how I had been to his seminar and to the conference, the Drift conference, and wrote about it. But email is so important now. I mean, it is in your inbox. It is something that you can connect directly with people. It's a push, not a pull. People want to read your material. So email is not dead. It is growing bigger and bigger and really important. So definitely nurture that. So if you have an email and nobody knows how many people are on your list, that's just your information. You can, just like anything, it's all perception. You walk into a room and you're awesome. You have a newsletter, you're awesome. You're putting it out there. Nobody knows. So act as if and be the best Brian you can be.
Absolutely. Well, again, Robin, I can't thank you enough for your time today and for your willingness to give back to the alumni community in this way with sharing your time and your talent.
Yes,
We
my
certainly
pleasure.
really appreciate it. And again, if you'd like a copy of these slides with all the links embedded, please go ahead and reach out to Robin at robinsamora.com. So thank you again, Robin. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. And I'm so happy. And everybody just go for it. Be your brand. That's what I say.
Absolutely. And I want to thank everyone who participated today. Thanks so much for joining us for today's webinar. And I specifically want to thank all those who have supported BU in the past. We have a number of really great webinars coming up. You can find the full list on our website, bu.edu/alumni/webinars. And I just want to give one other plug to Peter Shankman, the founder of Help a Reporter Out. You can find Peter featured on our Proud to BU podcast. He was featured as a guest in season 1. So if you'd like to listen to more of his story as an entrepreneur, please take a look, bu.edu/alumni/podcast. And as always, if you or any BU alumni that you know would be interested in presenting a professional development webinar like this, or if you have a topic you'd like to showcase for the Alumni Association, please feel free to get in touch with me. You can find me in the Alumni Relations office, and my email is dangard, DANGARD, @bu.edu. Thank you again to everyone for your time, and I hope you have a great day, great afternoon, great morning, wherever you might be. Thanks again, Robin.
Thank you. Take care.